and then we're gonna make sure. Give me a thumbs up whenever you're live. Hello, Dan.
Hey, we're just checking some audio here.
This is the audio check. This is the audio time, and we gotta know if it works. All right, I think we're good. Go ahead and go to that host scene. My goodness.
Hi.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. I always think it's Saturday when we do these.
I know, right? We're trying to find a schedule here.
Well, you know why? Because we did Saturdays for a long time, and now I almost think that that Saturday is just the day that we do these, and so I get one extra virtual day per week.
One virtual day.
Mm-hmm.
You're my virtual boy.
Viewers, listeners, scamps, fans, enemies, haters, lovers, how are you?
My name is Dan Fisher.
Oh, yeah, my name's Julio Gomez.
And this is the Bandscamps live episode recap on Facebook. We put out new episodes every Tuesday, and then we talk about it live with the bands, or sometimes just Julio and I on Facebook here.
And if you don't know what our format is, it is artist-submitted West Michigan music reviews.
That's right. We just realized last night filming a new episode that we don't really ever explain what the show is.
We just assume that you know. It might be a bad outreach method, you know what I mean? Like, it might be helpful if we break it down. So what we do is we do podcasts, and we talk at great length. Great length. We listen to the record, we take notes, and we talk, me and Dan, and it's mostly a show to show off us.
That's right.
But a really neat side product is that we review, more than anybody, more in-depth West Michigan music.
That's right. And, these live streams actually started out as a way to kind of like explain what the podcast was supposed to be about. And then it just turned into like this monster.
Yeah, we were like, I feel like we need to because one, we were like a month ahead. Mm-hmm. We were like a whole month ahead of schedule. We taped a month ahead. So we were forgetting what we were talking about. And there was all this stuff we hadn't talked about yet. They were like, oh, there's this stuff we got to tell people now.
Yeah.
So now we're here to recap what we reviewed about a week and a half ago.
Exactly.
Which is Underground by Moto and Serendipity by Blushing Monk.
That's right.
I got a funny Serendipity joke here.
Oh, that's
when Cassie, who was doing our line producing today. Everyone shout out Cassie.
Woo!
You can't see her, but she's off camera over here. She's doing our line producing today, and she does our intros and her voiceovers. And I told her that the album name was Serendipity Doodah.
You just told her that?
Yeah. And she definitely believed it for a second. She was like, are you fucking serious?
That's amazing.
So it's not. It's Serendipity.
Yeah. They should start a line called Serendipity.
Serendipity.
Right?
Ooh,
that could be cool.
I like
clothing
it.
line.
So we're going to have, it's hot.
All right.
We're going to have Blushing Monk on later. But our first guest, we have two of the gents from Moto.
That's right.
Which is great.
I'm really excited. They're like a long-time Grand Rapids music veterans.
Long time, before our time, contemporary to us, and possibly even some of the future of Grand Rapids rock and roll. You know,
yeah.
There's actually not a lot of rock bands around these days.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those bands where like you could actually say like they are rock music.
100%. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're rockers.
Yeah, but like I don't think people would call us like rock music. You know, that they would say like punk or something. You know,
sure.
but like. You know, like them and like Moto and like I feel like Foo Fighters are a really good band where you can say like they're like rock, not rock and roll either, just rock.
I feel you.
Yeah.
So kind of what our job is to kind of go in depth and kind of say what more is there to this band, because this band has been around a long time. Like I was saying, they're contemporaries of us.
Yeah.
They're also like before us.
Exactly.
You know. I feel like they were a band that I heard a lot about when I first moved here in 04. You know?
I feel like I saw them play at like a Kirchhoff Center in Grand Valley when I was in school.
And we are going to talk with them and about our episode that we put out on Tuesday about this record. So overall, let's jump right in.
Let's just jump right
Cassie,
in.
you can go ahead and hide that other album artwork. It's a little.
It all went away.
What did?
Oh, we're having a little tech difficulty here.
Here it is. It's a pop-up. There we go.
Oh, never mind.
So the little the little eyeball icon next to the Blushing Monk image, you can click on that and that'll hide it. Thanks for bearing with us. If you're just joining us, we have a little alarm clock icon there. When you click that, it will automatically notify you when we go live every week. We also can receive like stars, which is we get a penny per star.
We get a penny
Careful,
per star.
kicking that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can, Cassie, make that album art bigger. Let's go ahead and drag that up. So let's talk.
Let's talk about this album art.
Talk about album art. This kind of looks like a tattoo design to me.
Yeah, it's sick.
You can make that real big.
Yeah, you can just put it over our faces.
Put it over all our faces. Oh, yeah. There we go.
That's
there
nice.
We go. I love it. Did we note who did the album artwork? I can't remember if we talked about that on this episode.
I think we did.
Okay.
But we can recap that.
Let's
when we
talk
bring
more
them
about
on.
that. This definitely gives me like a rock vibe, and I wonder like how much of that iconography is
Yeah.
impactful with this band, because I already knew so much, but there was a little
Right.
slight like thing to that gave me a picture. But I was so surprised by this record.
Actually thinking about this too, it looks like are they roses? Like blue roses?
Yeah, there are some kind of blue flowers.
I think that
things.
fits the music actually really well. There's some really like flowery, kind of like cool, intricate parts, but there's also like the rock with the thorns.
I think I said it looked a little 90s.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure. Yeah,
I don't think
that's not a bad thing.
Man, I'm wearing a fucking red flannel right now.
Exactly.
Why not?
I
Like,
fucking love I grew up in the '90s. Like that was
Yeah.
like that's my shit.
yeah. So this is great though. This is actually
That's right.
we were both, I think, surprised by this record.
Yes, we were both surprised by this record by how much we like enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had a moment. It has a weird Spotify listing, and I
That's
had
right.
I had a panic moment. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I panicked. I was like, "Oh shit, is this band not called Moto anymore? And did we like mess that up?" And then I asked you,
Yeah.
and you're like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "Where is the?" And I found it, and then
Yeah.
I think Scott explained there's something, and we'll talk more
Yeah.
about that. But so it's under Ghosts of Moto on Spotify. I think it's just under Moto on Bandcamp. A short little EP, really showcasing something a little bit different from this band.
Yeah.
I think from what I remember at least, and I'm excited to dive into more of their stuff later.
yeah. In chat, if you have questions for Moto and
Yeah, go ahead
Blush
and
Monk,
send them through.
put them right in. We're monitoring the chat, so I think we're ready to bring on Moto
Yeah.
on.
Sounds good.
So, fellas, if you want to unmute your
go ahead,
mics,
unmute your mics. We're gonna switch
They're
over to the scene.
backstage
Give
on
me,
the
give me a
internet.
thumbs up when they're on there. They bees and gentle thems. This is we got Scott and we got Chris from Moto. Hey guys,
what's up, fellas?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
welcome. Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you.
the show.
Thanks for having us.
thanks for having us. Yeah.
You're so very welcome.
So I'm going to start out with my usual question, but I'm going to rephrase it a little bit because considering our conversation last week. But so just tell us a little bit about Moto.
Well, Chris, if it's okay if I start. I think it's
Yeah,
so awesome
start,
that you
man.
saw us at the Kirchhoff Center.
Yeah.
At the Kirchhoff
Yeah.
Center all those years ago. That's like an ancient history. That's like right when we first moved to Grand Rapids.
Oh, wow.
So that was like, that was like when we
99
actually lived on
maybe?
Grand Valley.
Yeah, it was.
That sound about right? 99.
Yeah,
No,
99,
no,
that
I'm a
thing.
little younger, so it was I think like 2006
Did we play
maybe.
them more than once?
Oh yeah. I think we played with Jason Wood's band there.
Oh yeah, in the
One
little
time.
with the
Yeah.
short ceilings, whatever
Yeah.
that was in there. Yeah.
Yes, that was the one. We played there twice. I was just wondering where
Yeah.
in history that was.
We
Yeah,
sat
so-
up on the floor
yeah,
in
so
the corner,
we-
right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's so rad. Time traveling here.
Time traveling.
Yeah, so tell us about Moto. Give us a little history.
Go ahead, Scott.
Chris and John formed the band in a little town called Alpena, Michigan, or actually
Yep.
Alcona,
Ooh.
Michigan, where I'm zooming in from right now.
Rad.
Lovely.
And
Yeah.
they asked me to join the band for being together for a couple of years. They were assigned to a small independent record label out of LA, and which was like a really big deal to get signed over the internet back then. And they asked me to join the band, and within a year we moved to Grand Rapids, and then from there we recorded first record together as a 3-piece in LA, and then we nothing really became of that. The manager kind of turned out to be kind of a weird guy, as that
No.
happens a lot, I guess. Well, we had a fun time doing it, and then that was kind of like the beginning of our career playing in Grand Rapids, is trying to promote that and like burning CDs, because it never got released, so we just had to like burn CDs and then just hope we didn't get in trouble for it. And then we kind of never heard from like the label or whatever, so we just started self-promoting and playing shows, and then we've recorded I think for since then.
That's
But that was our being in Grand Rapids, was basically passing out CDs at like Rit Music and meeting other musicians, basically around the hub of Rit Music, the old intersection, places like, I don't know, Stooges
Yeah.
was a place we played at.
Stooges.
Do you remember
10
that
bells
place?
maybe?
Yeah.
Did you guys play
Yeah.
10 Bells?
Oh,
We
yeah.
played-
What,
we
I
played
don't think
10
Moto
bells.
ever.
What's
Did we ever play 10 bells together, Scott?
We played, I think, once, and then we were supposed to play there another time, and the opening band, the bar manager told them to turn down because there was a bachelorette party that was going to leave, and so they ended up turning off all their mics and everything, and we got pissed, so we left. John and I left before you even got there, and then the bar owner threatened to kick our ass in the parking lot.
Nice, yes.
That
So that
sounds
was our
very
last
10 bells.
10 experience.
There's
Oh,
the
memories.
Top, there's the top off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's fun.
Okay, I didn't know about like the LA history, so that's really
Yeah,
that's cool.
I didn't either. And I think I might have been somewhat aware of the Alpena history. When I first moved here, I was roommates with Brett Lysak. He was one of the first kids I met, one of the first dudes I met in town. Awesome, awesome dude. And I think he always spoke very fondly of you guys.
He was our roommate when I joined the band. We had this awesome apartment in Alpena, and then that's where Moto. But we were called Mild 7 back then. We had a name change shortly after moving to Grand Rapids when we released our first record after the failed record label one.
Okay.
So yeah, Brett's an awesome guy.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Alpena, there's a pretty big Alpena Grand Rapids connection.
There is, yeah. There's a few folks I think I know from Alpena. So
Alpena vacation, leave on probation, right?
That's right. The bumper sticker, well known. Yep.
Did you ever hear that?
I've never heard that.
Alpena
I've never
vacation?
heard that one either.
Really?
That's sick.
No.
No, it's a bumper. It's a bumper sticker. Yeah, it used to be more popular. I'd say the early to mid 2000s.
Well, it does have a ring to it.
Man, I think Moto needs some of that slogan on a T-shirt or something.
Please, I would buy that. That's awesome.
It's true. I've heard it's true.
Yes. So let's talk about Underground. Your I think it said 6th release. Why don't you tell us who did the artwork, since we just talked about that?
Tyler Newkirk did that. He's a local musician. When we did this record, we didn't really have any ideas for artwork, so we kind of just threw it out there on the Facebook and Instagram if anybody had any ideas, and he came up with a few. And the blue flowers, that color hit me, so that's what we did.
We're pulling that right up right now on the broadcast again.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then this is your 6th full-length release?
Yeah, and actually, it's our first EP, I guess. Our first short record.
Oh, interesting. How do you feel about the EP format now? It seems to be a really trendy format.
We did it mostly just because that's how many songs we had together, and we wanted to get some stuff down. But if I'm being honest, it seems like a lot of bands record. A lot of bands are releasing just like a song at a time in anticipation of releasing a whole album, but they'll release 5 or 6 songs. Also, I like a full record. I don't like when it's just.
Yeah, I've never been able to pull it off. I always had the intention of making a full length, and I can never get enough songs to have it line up.
Yeah, and I think sometimes our like EPs come out it just as singles because they're so short, like on Spotify.
We did an EP and it was 12.5 minutes long, and they're like 11:40 something.
Yeah,
five songs.
Yeah, and they're like,
that's
it's
amazing.
It's a single. Let's talk about. You guys did this before the pandemic hit, right?
We did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of a rush deal. We did it pretty quickly. I think a couple of months, right, Scott? If that.
Yeah, we did it from November and December of 2019, and then we finished mixing, I think, in January, and then we had our CD release party or album release party at Pyramid Scheme the end of February, right before COVID hit.
Wow,
Right
just
then.
in
Yeah.
time.
Before everything got shut down.
We had that show booked,
yeah.
and
So we had a good show at Pyramid Scheme.
that kind of became the reason we were rushing to get our EP done. Is we had that show, and we were like, we got to get it done so we can because it's kind of a pain getting the show to happen there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we lucked out that we got to do it right before all the shit went down.
Our last show was like in January at one of those local spins things at downtown at that bar. That I can't remember the name of the bar.
Speakeasy.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the one. And then the last show I went to was the Heaters. Heaters played something at Pyramid Scheme like in February.
Yeah, I think
So-
with Major Murphy and Kiss and Kate, I think.
I feel like even jammies were around that time, and I feel like I didn't go to the jammies because of COVID. That I was like, I don't know.
And our
I remember, around the time that the Jammies was happening, I remember that was the first time that where people were starting to like, do we go to this or not, or should this even be happening? It was really,
Wow.
really weird.
in the show that we played, actually, the band we were supposed to play with had to cancel because one of the members was like crazy sick. And
Yeah.
so we're thinking he probably had COVID.
Yeah, and he like didn't show up.
Yeah.
Like was awesome.
So,
Like,
yeah,
kind of.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was glad. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Calling in sick for a show. Do we do that? Yeah. Oh yeah. Did I tell you that about how he? I'll tell you this, guy. The guy that one of the guys from the band that wasn't sick did come to the show, and he came to like shake my hand, and I like denied it. I was like, like, because I didn't want to get COVID. So
Yeah.
it was this affected you guys in a different way. You guys probably had a plan to like tour this and play shows and everything, right? Like, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't have a good end to that question.
we were trying to book some shows, and I mean, we've been doing this for a while, so it's really just to do it. We're not trying to get anywhere with it, but we were trying to play some shows out of town. And, I don't know, play to some new people.
For sure.
We just find it because this is the almost the 30th record we reviewed, and it's interesting seeing some people have made these records that we're reviewing during the pandemic, and some made them right before, and it was like, here's this thing, and then it's just boom, something interrupts it.
That's definitely how that felt. Yeah, for sure.
I definitely empathize, man. Like 100%.
And I think Ben Hunter recorded this, right?
Yeah, he did.
That's awesome. He was on episode 1.
Yeah.
He was our guinea pig.
Yeah, Brother Wolf.
Oh, word.
I will love him forever for trusting us to just unleash on his record with no reference,
Yeah, and he was really cool about it too.
Yeah.
A real trooper.
He's an artist, man.
Yeah.
You guys, like, I brought up that there's a lot of common sound between you guys and Ben. Would you agree?
Yeah, we've kind of grown up together as buddies and like as our bands. We've been playing together ever since we were kids, since we were 20. So
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I know that like genre and like sounding like something for some people is a touchy subject, but I love that you guys are making your own sound, and it's like, oh, it's not just me, it's also my bros that are making this sound.
Yeah.
Or like are influenced by this. We're chasing a sound that maybe lines up.
Yeah,
and
we're
goes
similar, but different. But it's definitely there. We like a lot of the same things.
Yeah, and I think we ran into that with like Kiss and Kate and like the comparison to Heaters and such, and I think they're like a little more resistant to that, but I think you guys are, I think you really kind of embrace like the shared influences and just the shared kind of like a passion, and that just kind of comes out in the music, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really close friend to all of us. I mean,
that's awesome.
I think
he's been one of our biggest supporters too from the beginnings, ever since we first met him.
Yeah, 100%. He was.
Sorry about the latency on my
sound.
end.
That's okay.
That's all right. He was running sound at Stooges, I think, when we started playing there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love these old venue names. Are great.
I know, right? Like Liquid Room and Stooges.
You can just like make them up and no one even knows. Oh, it's just before your time. We're talking like 97, it's 2001.
Yes.
Where was it?
Where was Stooges on Division?
Yeah, South Division.
I think Cassie needs a mic. She keeps
Division, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's called Rumors now. Well, I know it's called Rumors.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's a dance club.
I feel like Jeremy Pine and like and that crew would all know about Stooges.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I love. There's a lot of people that were doing music before. I moved here in 2004, like I said. But there's people that were doing music before I was here that still are. Like it's really incredible. A lot of people have kind of packed it up, but there's people are still trucking. It's awesome.
Yeah, like the Valentiger dudes have been doing it forever. Yeah, it's cool. Ben, I mean, has been doing music forever.
True. Chris, awesome guitar playing on this record.
It's so sick.
It's very good.
Thank you.
It's very good. I think I mentioned I'd heard a lot about your guitar playing as another lead guitar player, and like whenever conversations come up, your name comes up a lot as far as locally guitar skills, and I think it really shows off on this record, man. Nice work.
Yeah, there's some real technical stuff that's really impressive.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. What else can we jump into with this? That I think that's all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I think we were just at least I was really impressed with just kind of like the like epicness of it, and like how it was really just blending a lot of different styles and genres, and it was very like I don't know, it felt like like a play almost or something.
It felt long. Another one that I think felt longer than it actually was. in
Yeah.
length. Let's. I want to open the floor. Chat. If anyone's watching, please let us know if you have any questions for Moto. And Moto, I'm gonna open up this for you. What did we get right on the podcast? Would you say? We'll start there. Softball.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know just in regards to the drums, I'm really happy that you didn't mention my snare drum, which is I'll take as a win, considering
is
everything
a-
I've heard you guys talk about with snare
That's
drums.
an absolute win.
So
yeah.
you did say that, and you guys did say that the cymbals were loud. I agree too. I mean, the cymbals were loud. That was part of the mixing. They sound a little different on each track, I think, but there's a couple songs where they're a bit loud, but I mean, it's just that's just how it happens.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we were still Ben was still kind of breaking in his new studio setup when we started tracking that. So we were kind of learning as we were going with a lot of it.
Overall, it's very well done.
Yeah.
Like overall, it sounds good. And like I think we probably did the nitpicky. Like I'm just being nitpicky.
Exactly.
We
No,
hide
that's good.
We hide behind it a lot.
Well,
true.
we all have critical ears. It's good.
Man, that's awesome that you are all like into it because it makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
The,
What else?
Or what do
The
we get
one thing-
wrong?
oh,
We can
sorry.
go there too.
I don't really think that you got anything wrong. As like just an honest listener that doesn't know us, which
I
is
love being-
cool
I love
to
being
hear
right.
because I've never felt like I'm not getting can get an honest opinion from somebody who just watched me play.
Yeah.
It's very
There's always,
difficult.
whether they liked it or not, so it's really nice to hear it from somebody who really doesn't give a shit like what I think about what they think.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I really enjoyed. I've listened to it a couple of times. Like
Oh, thank you.
some of it cracked me up, but I think you guys are pretty right on. I mean, I can tell that you listen to music like we listen to music.
Yeah. Part of what we do here too is I love showcasing the personality of bands. I have another show called Grand Rhapsody that's like improv, and it's like people in bands improving, and like people in bands talk about music in this way. Like I feel like even you guys could probably relate to how we talk about other bands.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys are like speak the same language about your critiques of
Mm-hmm.
like how a record
thank
sounds,
you,
how
man.
the hi-hat sounds, like it's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, man. We're gonna just gonna keep growing and doing more, man. It's gonna be cool. I will like send us anything you guys make, anything ever.
Please.
Excellent.
What else? Like open it up. Chat. Anyone even talking? Nobody.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I noticed that you both noticed maybe some of the like kind of hair metal or like shreddy kind of stuff, and that's the stuff that cracked me up because it's hard for me to get away from that because like so much of the stuff I love is that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like kind of over the top, borderline cheesy, but I can usually tell if it's really
I love
cheesy.
that stuff.
I
Honestly.
think it's really flashy.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of bands kind of push that envelope. One real famous one is like Weezer. Like Weezer is
Yes.
like at the core such metalheads, and they kind of start doing these like metal-y leads, almost like ironically as a joke. And they're like, I don't even know, I'm just full out rocking now. A lot of their leads, like your stuff has a tiny when they go metal has a reminder of that. But even like I don't know, like a lot of '80s shit, power ballad metal. Like,
I'm all about it. I love 80s like hair
Yeah,
metal,
100%.
it's very very tasteful.
honestly. Yeah.
It's hard for that not
Yeah,
to come through.
I feel you.
Yeah,
It's
Weezer
hard-
is
it's
a
hard to
big
not play what we
early
love.
influence of ours. Yeah, a big early influence. Weezer. In fact, one good thing that happened with our album promotion is promoting this new record. One of our friends who actually works at Apple Music got one of our older songs on a Sounds Like Weezer or Influenced by Weezer playlist.
Oh, sweet.
So,
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a lot of streams from that, I bet. That's great. Yeah, Weezer even put out a record recently called Van Weezer.
I saw that.
Yeah. Apparently it's like okay.
What's
There's
the
some
band
great
thing?
songs.
Like Van
Yeah.
Halen.
Oh, I thought it was a Greta Van Fleet reference. Do you have any
That's pretty good.
Do you have any Greta Van Fleet
Hot takes?
Hot takes?
I've gone from being very critical of them to just accepting that they're a decent band, but I mean they sound like a lot of other stuff I've heard, but they do it pretty well. The
Uh-huh.
singer's face kind of bothers me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like sort of wretched.
It's just pure, like just listening to them, like their new stuff. They're great. They're a great band. They're a great rock band. But nah, I'm not into them.
Yeah. They're being nice. I think they're like insufferable.
Yeah, that's funny.
the influence
I
is
haven't
just too
listened to any of the
strong.
new stuff. I listened to a whole Fish set the other day. I don't know how you feel about the band Fish. I'm like not into them at all, and I like sat down and really listened to one of their sets from the mid '90s. the other day.
That also sounds insufferable.
I would rather listen to Fish than Greta Van Fleet.
Yes, 100%.
So it's got
That is fucked up.
My first concert ever was Fish at Wing Stadium in
Ooh.
Kalamazoo in 1995.
Hell
Ooh,
yeah,
are
that's
you
awesome.
Are you a fan?
I like the old stuff. I like the first maybe 4 or 5 records, but that was like a phase that like in my teens to early 20s. I don't really listen to them that much,
Okay.
but it'd be fun to revisit.
We do have somehow a weekly like Fish chat on our Discord server that I have no control over. So I don't know how it happened, but now we're like kind of in a Fish fan server. So we'll look like I got to get you on there and get you back
I
into
check
them.
out. Like,
I'll try.
mentally
Yeah,
every time
check
it
that out.
happens. I'm like, I'm
I
out.
don't even. It just happened.
It just happens.
It's fucking. I think it's Josiah's fault and Scott from KJ and the Good Times.
Yeah.
Band. I don't know.
They're not. I don't think they're in the
Should we
room though.
boot them? Kick them off
Yeah,
our server.
We'll kick them off the server. Yeah. If you guys are you guys familiar with Discord at all?
I don't think I am.
Yeah, I'm on Discord.
Record
I need to
company?
join yours. I need
Hell
to.
yeah.
I need
Yeah,
to.
he's get on it.
Yeah, I need to
Discord's
pump
a-
Tony
like
up and via Patreon.
Hell yeah! It's a just another social media platform, but we kind of have our own rules over there. It's fun. Let me think
Cool.
here. There was something I wanted to say that I can't remember. Oh, if you're just joining us, we are here chatting with Scott and Chris from Moto. This is Scott plays drums. Chris is guitar. And do you also sing?
I do.
Awesome. So we're talking about their record Underground that came out last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hit a little alarm clock thing that notifies you every time we go live. We put out new episodes every Tuesday. My name's Julio. This is Dan. That's called a reset, just in case anyone is like, what is going on here?
That's industry stuff right there.
Yeah, we can also swear on here.
Yeah, it's
Shit,
cool.
shit, fuck, boobs.
We can
Fuck
swear?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, you can.
Were
say,
you worried you couldn't swear?
I think I was probably subconsciously I wasn't gonna
Yeah,
swear.
you could even
Like-
say Trump if you wanted to.
Man, if I ever go on the, if you no, you can't say that. We're gonna put that. If I ever go on WICE again, ever, I'm gonna like probably drop F-bombs and like get fucking like
Yeah.
banned because I'm not gonna realize like, oh shit, I'm on public radio.
Exactly.
I'm not in my basement.
So, we got Josh in the.
Oh, hey,
chat.
Josh. Josh says thank you. He says 2 thank yous.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Josh.
So, what do you guys got planned for 2021? You know, with things kind of opening up, like kind of fast now.
We have a few shows booked for the next couple of months. I think we're gonna start booking shows.
Awesome.
Um,
Yeah, I'll
we
definitely
never
come out for one.
we never stopped practicing when
Okay.
everything shut down. So we've kept like playing this whole year.
Okay, so you guys are tight.
We're super tight.
We
Yeah.
haven't played together since last year, so like it's been over a year since we've even acknowledged that we have music together.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
We produced new music separately. We have a remix tape of our last record coming out, and we actually both did a remix for it. So I guess in some way we are doing.
Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about that.
that was last year
Yeah.
that we did that. I think
That's old news.
Well, it's not out yet.
Yeah, no one cares about it.
Well, it's not out yet.
They won't.
What do they? No, well, they won't care when it
They
comes
won't care.
out, but they don't. They
I'll
give them a
check it
chance
out.
to not care. Yeah. Shit, man.
Yeah, if you guys, we highly suggest that idea. Like, if you guys want to like put out your stems and like have people remix your songs, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of cool entries for our songs.
Just kind of broke it down. All the drums on one track, all the guitar, all the bass, all
That
the
sounds
vocals.
super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, we can talk to Ben about that.
Remix, man. Yeah, we'll do a remix.
I would love to, get some stems and do a remix.
Like techno or industrial or make it trip hop. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds excellent.
Okay.
What about this record? Let's talk about the Ghost of Moto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious.
With that,
You might have heard me when you were backstage there. I had a panic moment about it.
Yeah. That's the thing. It was a thing. Yeah, tell them what the deal is with that, Scott.
Yeah. So what happened with that is we got really frustrated when we submitted everything, all of our digital albums through CD Baby, and as the band Moto, which we've been since the early 2000s, and all of our friends said, like, we can never find your stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, even if you typed in like Moto Grand Rapids. So what we did is we were coming out with a new record in 2018. We were going to name it Ghosts of Moto. So we changed the band name through our aggregation service or aggregator CD Baby, and then it ended up changing, and we had to resubmit all records and actually change the font in front of it to say Ghosts of Moto, and then people are actually able to find it. So it's kind of confusing, but we got sick of being confused with an Italian DJ named Moto. So that's kind of how that happened.
There's a lot of bands named
There's
Moto.
a lot of Motos.
Oh, there's a whole fucking list. There's
I
a
feel
whole
like it's like a
goddamn
popular
list.
name for
Yeah.
third world people in a band or a third world DJ.
That's like the only name they can think of that thinks rock.
Yeah.
And we also, one thing to know is we did come up with that name
Cassie's
before the
micing
Motorola thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
actually, that's funny.
2000, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Wicker Basket, Jeremy in the chat says, "Does the band name come from the old Motorola commercials?"
Question.
No, man.
Oh,
Hello,
no.
Moto.
no, we predate that. They ripped us off.
Yeah.
You heard it here for Bandscamps exclusive.
Jeremy from Wicker Basket was our line producer last week. Cassie's grabbing a mic cord so she can talk on the mic. I think she's itching to do it.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, she's just gonna take over. It's fine.
There was
There's a
some
guy-
band. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about the latency. I think it's because I'm way up north. But there
You're
was
good.
a band in the early 2000s that when we first changed the name to Moto, he kept telling me, threatening to sue us because he was in a Chicago punk band called Masters of the Obvious. We didn't know anything about them.
Oh my gosh.
Not everybody was online yet. So the guy kept emailing me saying, hey, I'm going to sue you, which is so not punk rock, I don't think. But because Masters of the Obvious went by the acronym Moto. And he said, like, hey, if you want, I can send you like a list of 100 band names to change your band to, as long as you don't
that
use our
guy
name.
sucks.
And
Those
then
guys fucking suck.
Yeah, we
Those
tried to
guys
be nice
suck.
to him. I tried to just
You
email him back
didn't
like, hey,
did you get
your
the list?
band is an acronym.
Did you
No,
get the
I never
list?
went that
You should
far.
have been like,
No.
okay, let's do this list.
Yeah, let me see this list, and then be like,
Fuck
"Nah,
that
we're
guy.
good."
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Man, that
Yeah,
happened to
wait,
Lazy
and wait-
Genius.
That's right.
Lazy Genius got
Yes,
a bunch of cease
I
and
remember.
desist. I told him like get a lawyer and lawyer up and prove that you were there first, Or I was also trying to say like let's act like we're a major label. It's okay. Act like we're a major label and we'll try to meet with them somewhere, make them fly somewhere, and then not be there. Or have them go to Capitol Records and try to like go to the secretary and be
Yeah.
like, hey, we're here with a meeting.
Right. Band names are so weird. Like, just I feel like if you just have the same band name, you have the same band name. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird. It's awkward when you have the same name as somebody.
Yeah.
So like,
I think legally
you
you
know?
can have the same name if you're in a different state. I think it's like businesses,
Yeah.
where you can
Okay.
I don't know though.
Yeah.
I don't know with IP how it works.
Lawyers. Do we have
Look-
any lawyers in the chat? Let us know.
Hey, we got 13 viewers, double
Hey.
dig. Woo!
I mean, like, if you have the same name, just more incentive to be better and just get bigger, and then
That's
just,
what I
yeah,
always
you
say,
just
yeah.
have to be the better band. Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yep.
I've run into times where there has been like multiple like Dan Fishers, and I swore if I were to run into them, we'd have to fight.
Yeah, you got to fight them.
Yeah, like I'm willing to like go down if that's the case. If there's gonna be one, but you just have to face that fact. But I've run into Dan Fishers who had this exact same birthday as me, which is really creepy. Like to the year.
Same
And
year and everything. Wow.
Yeah, it's messed.
Weird, man.
I know. It makes you feel very unspecial.
Man, I'm so happy you all joined us. I think let's kind of like peter this out. Chat, any questions for Moto and anything that you guys have coming up that you want us to know about? You have any plans?
We do. We have a few shows.
Ooh. Okay.
We're playing at Turnstiles on July 24th.
We were just talking
We were
about
just talking about
Turnstiles.
that, yeah.
July 24th?
July 24th, yep, with Slumlord Radio and at Audible Darling.
Okay.
Dang.
Right on.
I'll have to try to
It
make
should
it
be
out.
cool.
I'm curious.
I'm kind of excited about a new venue.
Yeah, we were just talking about it and wondering about it. Yeah, we'll have to scope it out.
And we are we're playing July 9th in Alpena. We're going back home. We kind of got in the habit of playing some summertime shows in there. We had to cancel last year, obviously. So
Do
we're gonna
y'all have
hopefully-
a bit of a fan base up there?
yeah,
Hometown
for sure.
heroes.
That's wonderful.
I love that.
So July
Yeah,
9th
it's
in
really-
Alpena, July 24th at Turnstiles in Grand Rapids.
Yep. And then August 28th at Ironwell.
Okay.
Not
And,
sure who we're playing with yet there, but
Ironwell, for those that don't know, is the old 741, right?
yes. Yep. 741.
And the old 741, for those who don't know, used to be Cousins.
Correct.
It was probably called something like Rascals before that
Yeah.
or something. Like Little
It was
Rascals.
Rascals, yeah.
Rascals.
That just makes me miss Jukes.
Oh, I bet you guys played at
Oh,
Jukes,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
We did.
What a spot! They like kicked off the free show in Grand Rapids thing. I feel like
They
The
did.
free. You get paid. Your band gets beer.
Mhm.
People feel safe and it's fun and it's good. Yeah.
Excellent
Every
place.
every
Yep.
Juke show was like a shit show. It was just like you would just get sloshed every time.
Oh yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. I definitely don't miss having to set up my drum kit in the rain in the alley.
Yeah. That sucks.
Having to set your drum kit up
That
in the
one
rain
time.
alley. Oh yeah.
Well, like that's just because, like, remember how like packed it was? It was really hard to move in gear unless you shared a drum kit. You have to like set up all your stuff outside and then move it in after the band loaded out because that
Yeah.
hallway was so
I
small.
hate the sharing a drum kit thing. I hate sharing gear.
You're not
I
even the
think
drummer.
every band. Yeah. Well,
Dang.
yeah.
You
I
don't
don't like
you
using
don't.
somebody's rig either.
No, I
wanna
don't
play
either.
Somebody else's
Yeah, no,
shit.
I don't
wanna Play
either.
my shit.
Yeah, when we play the jammies, they were like, "You got to use the back line," and I was like, "I certainly will not."
Yeah.
will
I
definitely
just don't
not do
like.
that.
I don't like the back line. I never liked the back
You
line. I
never
don't
like
care what
the-
it is.
It's a hot rod.
Yeah.
This is four hot
Yeah, the
rods
back
wired
line's the
together.
worst for
Yeah.
drummers.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
bet. And they're all like, it's all angled weird.
I just
Yeah.
don't want anyone touching
Yeah.
my shit.
No, me neither. So I think let's move on to final words, you guys. I want to appreciate you guys,
Yes.
or tell you how much we appreciate you trusting us to review this record and come on today. This has been so fun. This has been really,
Really
No, loved
appreciate
it. I loved it. Loved all your comments. Loved hearing it.
And we do a little ritual here.
Yeah, it was a lot of
That's
fun.
At
I think
Bandscamps. Oh yeah, Scott, what's up? Has someone say something?
I'm sorry about the latency, but no, I
You're
just
right.
really appreciate what you guys are doing. I think this is a really good dialogue for the local band scene, just to just put it out there and actually have discussed it. And then I love that you guys do like this recap, to actually have the one feedback from the bands. It's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
It's cool
Thank you
as
so
hell.
much.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super cool. Your show is cool.
Thank you. We're trying to create a different kind of like back and forth dichotomy. You know, back in the day, like they tell you don't read your reviews at all. Don't even read them. You know, don't read your reviews. And then on top of it, now we can get the feedback back from the artist. And I comment. I'm all over YouTube. I'm all over the comments. All like defend what I say about it. You know, and we're kind of creating these new kinds of dialogue that are new. That are just brand new.
It's
You
excellent.
got a question? It's on chat. Let me
here.
see here. We do have one question. It looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
here.
from Kevin Fine here. It says, can't listen live, but popping in to say Moto rules, and he helps to cut the show. And number 2, scamps keep scamping. Have been very entertained by the show. Thanks for making it. Thanks,
Ooh,
Kevin.
Ooh, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comment. We appreciate you.
Let's ask some quick questions. Like, now that things are opening up, like, I guess doesn't really matter, but like, what's something you're looking forward to once things are like more safe to go out?
Playing shows has been my number one thing that I've been wanting to do that I haven't been able to do.
Mhm.
And I just can't wait to just go out and see some shows. I mean, I've been dying to see some live shows. I've been paying for a lot of live streams online, but this isn't the same.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not the same. It's still really fun and interesting, but it's not the same. Yeah, I almost am kind of hesitant to participate as a performer, but I'm excited to hang out as an audience member.
Me too.
I'm excited to get back to hugging strangers.
Yeah.
Strangers?
Dang.
Well, yeah, kissing and hugging strangers like we all used to do, right?
I love it.
I think I said that on my podcast that like I was like into that, but I think the pandemic scared me straight.
Yeah. Scared straight.
Yeah, scared. Oh.
Hey.
Okay, so this brings us to our final segment. What we like to do is kick people off the show. So Cassie, you can hover your mouse over, and you can like kick them. How do you pull it? How do you?
Yeah,
oh,
the little 3 dots.
yeah.
And then you do
So
remove.
so we're gonna So we're gonna do Scott first. Scott, any last words?
You can click remove, Cassie.
No,
then-
just
'cause it'll bring
thanks
up a
so much
pop-up.
for having us today.
As
It
a
really
report
really
them.
fun.
Awesome. Oh, he's gone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like to just kick them off
Yeah.
off the call.
Yeah. Don't submit. Yeah.
All right. Chris, man, thanks for coming on the
Thank you.
show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Any last words?
Thanks for what you're doing. I really dig it.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. See you
All right,
later.
they're gone finally.
Yeah. Woo.
Dang.
Okay. So Cassie, go ahead and go back to the host scene.
So that was Moto, everyone. If you're just joining us, this is Bandscamps episode 15 or 14 live episode recap.
Cassie, you got a she has a mic. Go ahead and test your mic whenever you feel comfortable with it. Oh, you're at the host scene? Okay. Give me 1 second. Dan, why don't you carry it away?
Sure. Why don't we do some housekeeping here? For those in the chat and those who's watching, best way to support us is through patreon.com/bandscamps. You can donate or subscribe each month. You can get access to the episodes early and to our exclusive Discord server. It's a lot of fun. You can submit if you have new music coming out in 2021, or if you put music out in 2020, you can submit to us at bandscamps@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram at bandscamps_. We're all over the internet, so it's a lot of fun. If Dutcher and Caleb are watching, you can now kind of hop in here and join the Zoom call here, and then we'll get Blushing Muck on soon.
I'll put them right on here. Thanks for being patient, everybody.
Check.
This is
Oh,
Julio here.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're
Hey,
coming.
guys.
We got Cassie here on the mic now.
I wonder what we can hear you. Let's see.
Welcome to Bandscamps.
It sounds just like the artist. Yeah.
All right. That's Cassie. You hear Cassie's lovely, beautiful voice over there.
Hi, guys.
You could probably give me a little bit more headroom on the I think maybe
Up top. Okay.
yeah, when you crop it. We are going to talk about another record. Let me get Dutcher on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He says jumping back on the machine shortly. Go ahead and get in the waiting room. And we are going to talk about another record here.
Dutcher is also in the band Earth Radio, which we reviewed a few episodes ago. And this is another project that he's in.
Yeah, and this is Blushing Monk. The record is called Serendipity. Cassie, go ahead and make that album art real big for us, and we can pull that up.
Real big.
And this is another one that came out last year, correct?
That's right. Yeah, I think it came out before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
or before quarantine at least.
Yeah, before lockdown. There we
Yeah.
go. That's looking good. Thank you so much, everybody. If you're joining us now, we got line producer Cassie. Say hi, Cassie.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everybody. How's it
This is
going,
cool.
Cassie? Your voice sounds nice. So nice in the mic every
It
time.
Thank
does sound
you.
really nice.
Yeah, it
Thank
sounds
you.
really good. Really,
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
a nice timbre.
It's good to be here.
I'm sorry that we don't have a camera on you, but it's okay.
That's okay. First time, probably for the better.
There you go.
First time listener, long time scamper.
So go ahead and admit
Caleb
where it says
there.
admit there on the left. And everyone, thanks for bearing with us. We got some more Zoom calls. Stay on the host screen. Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
we need to crop it. You
Okay.
got to crop back to where it was.
On guest or on host?
On host screen, crop it so it's just me and Dan.
Thanks for being patient with us here.
You gotta do it fast.
I'm trying to click on it. It's not selecting it.
Hey, I'm gonna be right back. Just go ahead and talk this one on.
Sure.
Sorry, it's not selecting it.
It's okay. So we're getting Caleb on here, and then we'll have Dutcher come on too, and they're going to talk about the record Serendipity. Again, the album's called Serendipity by Blushing Monk, so this is another one that we just were saying that came out pre-lockdown, and that was probably affected very similar to the way that Moto's Underground record was affected, in the fact that they weren't able to really play shows to promote it.
Yep. Hey, Caleb, go ahead and mute your mic if you're backstage. There you go. Perfect. This is a record that was impacted by the pandemic only in like support. It was able to be kind of unencumbered. I don't know. That's not even a word.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying. Unencumbered,
Unencumbered.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Unencumbered?
Maybe. Thank you, Cassie.
Uncucumbered.
Basically, this is a highly collaborative record.
Yes.
And I think I was unaware of the nature of how collaborative it was.
Same. I thought that Blushing Monk was just like a band. But it seems to be more than that. It's like a collective, I guess you could say.
And we have two members. We got Caleb Elzinga and we've got Dutcher Steneker backstage. And we can don't let Dutcher in quite yet. We'll let him in a second when we change scenes because he had it cropped.
Let's talk about the record real
quick.
Let's do it.
I gave this a listen today, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's like that's the thing with these records is that when we're first listening to them, we're doing it with heavy monocle, just like really getting in close, microscopic.
We're like this.
View.
We're like
we're literally like this. The whole time.
So this was me the last time, and then this time it fell out. It was monocles disengaged. Because all I was doing was kind of hanging out, setting up the broadcaster, doing all this, and getting it going, and basically
it's real nice.
It is nice.
It's nice.
I do think that some of the things I said about this record were a little bit more on the negative side towards the later half of the record, and I still stand by that.
Yeah.
This record has a really strong start.
Sure. But yeah, I think I was not expecting it to be like full out jazz.
Okay.
And that's what it was. And I think that was actually a really nice surprise for me. I've been getting into and listening to a lot more jazz over the whole pandemic. So it's kind of been kind of not my wheelhouse, but like what I've been interested in lately. So it was my ears kind of perked up right away. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's great to have some different kinds of music. There's a lot of varied music in this town, and in the day that we're in, like rock music is not the dominant rock music form anymore.
Right.
You know? And we just talked with Moto, some rock dudes, and it's kind of branching out into these other art forms.
That's right.
That have inspired music through the years, and jazz is one that is. I said it's a great American art form, right? I have a lot of respect for it. I don't have a lot of language around it.
Same, and I'm glad that we got that YouTube comment saying like we appreciate, or whatever comment on Discord, that they appreciated that we acknowledge that we don't know much about. We have limited knowledge about jazz, and we're not trying to pretend that we know what we're talking about all the time.
Sorry about the crop here. We got Dutcher here. We're gonna get to them and Caleb in a second. If you're just joining us right now, we're about to go live with Blushing Monk.
Scott's actually in the chat. He says, "Been sharing this album around to my jazz loving friends. A good listen." Scott Dixon
is a scamp.
A scamp.
He's a patron as well. We had a lively discussion on the Discord about this record, and I think Scott was one of the people that kind of disagreed with my. I think I kind of said I didn't get a whole lot of feeling from some of it, and he was like, "I don't know about that."
Yeah.
And he was like, how can you not listen to this part, listen to this part? So there is some, for the guys backstage listening, there's been some lively discussion about this record, kind of critical of our take on this record.
Sure. Which is okay.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. They're wrong, but
yeah. We have another. That's Dutcher here on the chat here saying, nope. If anything, it was partially spawned from the founder's beer, partly because of how the name sounded.
I wonder if he's responding to an older comment.
Here's the. Oh, maybe he thought it was Jeremy's comment.
That's all good.
Yeah.
What do you think that we missed the mark on before these guys come on this record? Because I want to be prepared because I don't want them to rail me.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe I think I know
that they're that kind of guys. I don't know.
This is gonna tear into it. I think we were pretty right on. Honestly, I think we touched on what it means to be a song versus a piece of music. I think, and I think I don't know. Did we reference Steely Dan at all?
Here, let me address that.
Yeah, let's do it.
We did reference Steely Dan twice on this record.
Okay.
I referenced it at one point in regards to bands that do jazz a little bit, how people don't like that.
Right.
And one band that does that well is Steely Dan.
Yes.
I never said this band sounds anything like Steely Dan,
Yeah.
but I did bring up the concept of rock bands kind of dipping their toes in the idiom of jazz, and how that's often poorly received,
right?
And how I was happy that this band was actually really full.
It was full on jazz, full blown jazz,
up to the neck.
Yeah,
So
yeah, do jazz players like it if I say full blown jazz?
bro, jazz players like all sorts of shit.
Yeah. I mean, if someone said my music was full blown something, I think I would probably full blow.
We're gonna
something.
ask, man. We're gonna
Yeah.
ask about. We're gonna ask some jazz guys.
Yeah. Do you think
about
we're ready to bring him on? Wait, let's talk about the album art real quick.
Okay, so this is album art by Emily Petersmark
Of the
and
Crane Wives.
of Crane Wives, and very cool that were part of this. I love the art. I don't know if I felt like it was appropriate for this record.
Yeah,
and I think that was
I think I
one
stand
thing
by
that
that still.
Yeah. Can you bring Dan just down a hair, Cassie? Just a tiny hair. Now that we're warming up, we're getting our shout voices on.
That's right. Yeah, Julio's really nitpicky, so he likes to do this a lot.
Hey, I'm the director.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as long as you can handle it, that's fine.
I swear, I cry every night thinking about how you're going to react to me ordering you around. But sure,
Is that a good level?
that sounds
That's
good.
a great
Thank you,
level.
Cassie. Your voice sounds great.
It does sound really nice.
Thank you.
So let's bring them on. Cassie, do you want to introduce
Let's
them?
do it. Yeah, let's have Cassie introduce it.
All right. Let's welcome Blushing Monk.
All right, give it a second. And we'll switch it over to the other scene. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Dutcher, go ahead. Hey, here we go.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead and
Let me
unmute
get
your
rid of
mics.
Motos.
Oh yeah, go ahead and get rid of the Moto captions, or you can right click them and change the names if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get that going. Hey guys.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Yo,
how's it
what's up?
going?
Wow, I'm so glad you guys are here joining us.
Yes, yeah, happy to be
Thanks
here.
for having
Thanks.
us. This is sweet.
You're welcome.
Trying to get the right.
We were on
All of
Dutcher's
it.
podcast recently, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were on your
Yeah.
podcast.
One of
Thank you
Dutcher's
for
many.
having us. And we are so glad to have you on here. We didn't have a chance. The Earth Radio recap got some scheduling issues between me and Dan, so we couldn't really even do guests for it. And I'm glad to have you here right now. We talked about your record, Serendipity. And Dan, do you want to? Dan loves this question.
Yes. Just tell us a little bit about Serendipity
And Blushing Monk.
and Blushing Monk.
Yeah, well, so Blushing Monk was kind of made under not pressure, but it was there
He's going for a
2017.
walk there, huh?
Yeah, it looks like he's checking out of the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's almost noon. I gotta check out. So I'm here. I'm hanging.
That's showbiz.
We're
I love
here.
it.
That's
That's
showbiz,
good.
showbiz, baby.
showbiz.
Life on
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah, life out and about there. Well, there was one year where this guitarist musician Steve Hilger was in charge of booking some of the talent for the Grand Jazz Fest that Grand Rapids puts on every summer, and they have a slot that's for younger jazz professionals, student groups. Sometimes they go even to high school groups depending on what they want to program.
Mhm.
And Steve had approached me. He's like, "Hey, I know you play jazz. Like, do you want to play the opener slot for Grand Jazz Fest?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds fun." And then in my head, I'm like, I don't really have a band. So
Right.
I had been playing, with Brad Fritcher and some other MSU folks like Joe Vasquez and Olin Clark and, people that were on the record.
Mhm.
And we recorded, I think it was 5 of the tunes that are on Serendipity for an EP. And that EP was kind of, we had it mixed, mastered. Isan did the art, Pluto Monday, for the EP. And then we were like, all right, we got a band, we got the tracks people can reference. Let's go do this festival. And then after, having so much fun with that process, I was writing some songs for my master's recital, which Serendipity and Urban Rush were 2 of them. And I enjoyed, playing with the school band that I had put together just for the recital. And I was like, oh, Blushing Monk should record these tunes too. And Caleb was the only person from the first session that was available for the second session.
Oh yeah.
Because half the group, after that 2017 Grand Jazz performance, half the group moved out of state. And that's
And then
kind of
Dutcher and I went to Western together, which
yes.
sort of put us in the same location while he was writing new tunes for his graduate recital. It was just like right place, right time once again. And I feel like that was like the whole point behind the first series of it too. It's right place, right time. Who are the people we want to play with, especially for the Grand Rapids Jazz Festival? So, like, sweet, let's do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what led to, even though it's, 2 separate sessions, different sets of players, different studio environments, the connecting threads between all the tunes were, I guess, Ian Gorman for the mastering, but also the fact that as Michigan jazz players, there's almost, especially when you go through all the music schools, like there's great programs at MSU, U of M, Western, and you have these these years where there's all these different jazz players interacting and writing new songs and developing their footprint. And Blushing Monk kind of turned into this way of like, let's celebrate the people while they're here, because inevitably, if someone's gonna take their talent and go to a bigger music environment to like really try and make a go of it. A lot of MSU people moved to New York. A lot of Western people seem to be in Chicago. So that's kind of how like the band started, out of a need to fill a slot, but it was with people I had been playing with in various capacities. And now with this release from last year is kind of the first time of like, all right, what is our step forward? Because the EP was kind of put out haphazardly, just out in the wild.
Is this Dutcher? Is this your baby, pretty much, or is this kind of a collaborative thing at this point?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix, because I did let like some of the tunes like Blushing Monk, Voodoo, which I forgot to ask Olin why he wrote it with a U, but I guess it's pronounced Voodoo. And
I think we
got it right.
Yeah.
I mean, we said like 5 different things.
Yeah, we said like voodoo.
Voodoo.
I think that one and Jaga Jammin', Haga Jammin'.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because Jaga Jammin' is, I just do it because it's easier to say. But
There you go.
there's this band. There's this band called Jaga Jazzist, and that might not even be the right way to pronounce their name.
Okay.
There's
And
a
they're
band called Jagged Edge that I like too.
Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
They're like an R&B band.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Do you call it your Dutch baby then?
Speaking of R&B,
Yeah.
there's a bit of R&B on this record, actually. A bit of R&B, a little bit of soul. Like, I think when in my first kind of like assessment of this record, it was very, very straightforward jazz to me. And I don't know if you guys heard backstage, but I listened to this morning as I was setting up the broadcaster and everything, and there was more to it than I when listening critically was able to pick up. It was almost like when I passively listened, I was like, okay, there's more stuff going on here. And I really especially like the first 2 tracks of this record.
The first track is really good.
First one's a
really
bang.
like
It's a
one.
banger.
It is a banger for sure.
Thanks.
There was some keys I noticed. So I wrote down a couple of things that I missed entirely. Cassie, can you hand me that pad that's over here? It's on the brown table right here. I got some notes. There was a couple of things that I missed entirely that I wrote down here that I want to say about this first track. And there's a nice little like electric piano lead. What is that instrument specifically that comes in? It's like in the middle, and it's before like a more synthy lead. What is that instrument that you're playing there?
Yeah, I think that was the
Microchord, right?
The microchord, or no, that was the synth sound.
Yeah. So before that, there's a key thing that happens for quite a long time.
Yeah, I believe that was the Rhodes they had in the space.
I don't know how I didn't notice that. And I listened to your album the first time on Spotify and the second time on Bandcamp. And I don't know if there's any difference in that, because Bandcamp, remember we talked about this yesterday, that Bandcamp says they don't change the audio. Oh, except for streaming.
Except for streaming.
So it sounded different on Bandcamp somehow, or maybe just being passively listening.
Yeah.
But great playing on that too. And then Caleb, what do you play in Blushing Monk?
I'm the saxophone player.
Oh, excellent.
Nice.
Throughout the whole thing?
Yep.
Oh,
I did
excellent.
saxophone for both sets of it.
Excellent work. So this record, you're saying both sets there. So this record is comprised of 2 different recording sessions.
Yeah.
So the initial one was the 5-song EP that we did with the original album artwork, and then the 3 new songs were with a different bass player and a different drummer, and we had Travis Swanson on guitar for it. So those 3 new guys, and then the two, Dutcher and I were the same. We did that second session in a day down in Kalamazoo at La Luna.
Okay.
And then, so I guess for this release, we figured it would be a good way to sync both bands or both of our entities separated by, 2 years or 3 years, repackage the whole thing under one. And that sort of, it gives it like, it is so much more of like people coming in and who do we want to work with. So that made a lot more sense for the album, just to have that aspect to it, having all of the people on one album.
It sounds really cohesive. You
It
know,
does.
like I don't know if you noticed in the episode, but I was actually shocked when I was like, okay, there's more people in. I thought maybe it was a core like kind of like small combo with horns added or something, and I was surprised to find out it was way more people.
Yeah, it's really cool, and now that makes more sense with the multiple drummers and multiple bass players.
I was shocked actually about that. Oh wow, that you guys really actually melded. There is a sound that's kind of encompassing, even though you're trying different things and trying different types of jazz.
Yeah, it speaks to the musicianship and
How
composition.
many to be exact?
How many people total? Yeah.
Yeah, how many?
Yeah, I guess I wrote, I think Olin wrote 3 songs, then I wrote the other ones. And it's kind of, some of them were recycled from previous collaborations with Brad Fritcher. We had a quartet together before he's kind of rebranded and shifted to Brad Fritcher's Moods, which I played on some of that stuff. But so, like Jagged Jammin', Working Title. I think Working Title was like the first one I wrote ever that was like, this is jazz, in my undergrad, just feebishly, trying to play jazz.
In an odd meter, that means it's jazz.
Yeah.
We often ask each other, is this jazz?
Yeah.
Or we'll just say, or we'll just be like,
it is jazz.
Or we'll just be like, that's jazz, baby.
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
We've never actually messed up. We just play jazz.
Yeah, we just suddenly play jazz.
Yeah.
So you guys can probably tell that we don't know a lot about the real language behind jazz, but we do listen and appreciate it. It's one of the greatest American contributions to any art. You know.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
jazz.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, jazz is interesting, like, because you could say, "Oh, I love jazz," and I'm saying this very openly,
Sure.
like, "Oh, I love jazz," but jazz has been through so many different changes, and the word for what we call it hasn't changed. We get these small micro genres, but over the last 100 years, it's all jazz, right? So do you like 1917 Dixieland jazz? Maybe, maybe not. Well, then that transitioned into, big band era jazz and swing dancing. We'll do like Glenn Miller and, all of that.
Yeah.
Duke Ellington went more, Duke Ellington basically like do like that kind of jazz. That transitioned into like quartets with Dexter Gordon and Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. That was like the bebop era, which is fast and harmonic and everything. Do you like that kind? That transitioned into hard bop, which was like more dense harmony and did I lose you guys? Denser harmony.
You're good.
Longer solos, all of those things. So you're listening for like the experience of the interaction between the musicians. And then hard bop went into fusion with like the introduction of electronic guitars, electronic keyboards, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Zalvinol, all those dudes. And it's like, okay, well, that's still, all of the things that I've just said are all still jazz. But which ones do you say like, oh, I like this? And if it doesn't sound like that, then it's not jazz. Even though what somebody might be playing is like, modern jazz with like straight ahead swing on the ride, like a Chris Potter or
this kind of talk comes up with like
everything.
A genre we talk a lot about is emo.
Yeah.
Emo has been so influential on like my age group and people in the rock genre, and people are constantly arguing about what is or isn't emo, And I feel like at least with jazz, they're like, yeah, that's jazz. You know, like jazz.
Yeah, we're very
jazz is
inclusive.
like more welcoming to be like, yeah, that's jazz.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
We talk about that with electronic music too, because
Uh-huh.
I feel like back when I was like introduced to it, everything was just techno.
It was just techno, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like clarifying. Well,
Yeah.
this is this, and
This is
that,
techno, and this is chill wave.
And what's interesting is that like as a music critic, like I'm a music critic, I'm there to dissect your music, but then as a musician, you are there to make your music hard to dissect for me in a way, or that can be a goal, is to
Right.
be like, and you guys in Blushing Monk are all really running the gambit of what is jazz in a way. And I think we talked about that. You do a lot of like some like it gets kind of free jazzy a little bit or more progressive, but then it sounds kind of like more 50s and orchestrated, and it sounds maybe more 40s and kind of like fast and frantic. Like there was some like I don't know, it just like reminded me like the 60s cool sometimes, but then it gets a little 70s and freaky, a little Philadelphia sound here and there, and I like that. I don't know a lot of jazz, the specifics, but I know of the history, so it's kind of a hard album to talk about, but I think looking back on it, I think that's you have been successful in that.
I think what you say is interesting. Like, even just if you look at like the tune Blushing Monk and then like Frankenstein is a little bit more, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's a blues, but it's weird, a little bit outside. And then Blushing Monk has that like that 60s, 70s hard bop, like straight ahead type thing. So just within those two tunes, we're seeing like references from different eras. And then you get into like, what was the one called Rumble, which is just like very, very free and formless, if you will. Like we knew where we were in terms of like where we were going, but it was also just like really played by ear. So the fact that one album sort of hits all three of those spots is interesting, and it's really cool that you two guys have been able to pick up on that.
I was hesitant to make any hard declarations on the quality of it because it's a world I'm not familiar with, and I also don't know what's been happening in jazz since I don't know, like the Marcellus dudes in the early 2000s.
Right.
Like I really haven't been paying attention, you know.
Yeah.
And one, I think it's funny too. With Wynton is one of those like, he's done a million things in jazz, and he's one of those people that nationally people come to ask about jazz, and part of him is in that like, like jazz ended after bebop like ended, quote unquote, like
is that
the
his
pure
theory?
form. That's like his like.
It's interesting because if you listen to him back and like when he was 18, 19, 20, he's playing all that hard bop stuff with Art Blakey, like OG bands and people that really made it. And then he got into Jazz at Lincoln Center and readopted like the appreciation for older big band-esque things, especially Duke Ellington, Betty Carter, all of those things. So he's like, he just doesn't play bebop anymore, but he can, and he did. And then it's very much like more so current like beat or big band music with a twist, and then Duke Ellington. So his career is crazy because he's done everything. He won a Grammy in jazz and classical in the same year. And then he went to go do Jazz at Lincoln Center and like totally changed the game and just really brought back jazz as in like an institution type thing with education and like really getting young kids to be involved or included in the music, which is really cool. But you won't hear him play bebop, not really.
We got a question in the chat.
Yeah, what do we got?
We said Jeremy asks, what are your thoughts on Kamasi Washington in the modern jazz era?
Love
Epic.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kamasi Washington.
Yeah.
He's so he is so
I don't even.
like he's somehow brought, you think of like big band, like Kamasi's band is like, it's, you look at every member and there's distinct personality, like, like bass, there's two bass players, like Thundercat, like, 6-string, semi hollow body, just crazy, facility. And then, two great drummers. There might be strings, there's, added horns, vocals. It's this big, organism that exists on stage and in recordings. And he is this like, he always dresses in like these these very stylistic robes. He's got huge hair and he can just rip on tenor sax, but he also is kind of like the de facto like he picks up on the energy everyone's putting out and then he just kind of pushes it into the audience, and it's this cool like it's like accessible jazz, but somehow also like very expressive, and it's open for people to like, you know, take extended solos or like do extended type of things, because it's this big overall experience for each
And
tune.
I would say, like, not to compare ourselves to the epicness that is the Kamasi band, but I think Kamasi's band appreciates any form of music, like improvisational music, and that comes on stage, like during a set. Like, if they start off a song, let's say it's a ballad, and somehow it transitions itself into this heavy banger, and then it goes into this really sweet tune in 5, and then like maybe a hip hop jam to end it. Like, they're going to classify all of that as what they do, like their genre, but how do we interpret that genre? I don't really know. I think that would kind of be a close comparison to like maybe what we're trying to do. You know, like we can't
Like,
necessarily say that
like fusion, right?
Yeah,
Is
but
that still a
fusion is
dirty-
such an
is it a
easy
dirty word.
It's not a dirty word. It's just such an easy word to say two things pushed together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
are we
Hybrid.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, let's get
like
into
fusion
the record.
could be okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, no, this jazz.
Yeah.
Jazz,
Let's
baby.
let's talk about what did we get right or what did we get wrong.
I think they said right. I think one thing that I think that is a subject of like maybe people aren't going to understand that, like, I think it's good to admit that we don't know jazz that well, and like that's not me apologizing for my knowledge, but that's trying to be upfront. But I wonder how if that comes off as insincere. So I want to get that out of the way too.
Yeah.
But let's go jump in. What did we get like dead wrong?
As far as I could tell, nothing stood out as like, you know, like, oh, this is definitively like that was the wrong take or the wrong, you know, approach, because you made it clear up front, like, hey, here's kind of what we're working with between the two of us. Here's our, you know, we have this appreciation. We have like points along the journey of jazz that we can reference from our own listening experience, which, you know, I would argue that's like all you can really, like, if I were to talk about like the punk scene, I'm not going to have nearly as much knowledge. I'm going to be like, like I could maybe comment on the sounds that I'm hearing, or like, you know, the notation. 'Cause I do listen to like, you know, heavier aggressive music, or, you know,
What do you like?
So since high school, when I got introduced to like metal and all that stuff, I listened to, you know, I'll listen to like the frenetic, crazy, like, you know, like Dillinger Escape Plan, or like, you know, Meshuggah, like those kind of like those technical marvels that you're like, how are they still playing together?
Love Meshuggah.
Yeah.
Caleb, are you in a van with other people right now going somewhere? What is going on?
I'm in Colorado right now on tour with Joe Hurtler and the Rainbow Seekers.
You're on tour?
Here are the dudes.
Hey everybody, what's going on?
Hi everyone.
Hey.
So
Hey, I'm Julio
This
from
is-
Bandscamps. This is Dan from Bandscamps.
Yeah.
Y'all are in a band, huh?
Wow.
They don't give a shit.
I've
They
got
give
you
a-
on
they don't-
headphones.
They don't give a fuck. Oh, they can't hear us. That's why.
Well, they
Yeah.
can't hear you. I've got.
That's why. That's why. That's fine.
But yeah, I'll tell them that you said hey. in a
Awesome.
second.
Tell them right now.
Hey guys, two dudes from Bandscamp say hey.
Hey,
They're,
what's up?
They say hey, what's up?
Do they seem excited about it?
What
or
up,
no?
Bandscamp?
Wow, he's
We kind of just
standing?
woke up, getting out
Does
of the
your
hotel.
van have standing room? Are you in a plane? What is going on?
Oh,
here?
yeah.
It's a roomy van.
No, it's what are they? A Ford Transit.
Oh yeah, one of those.
Nice.
Ford
Those
Transit
are sick.
with like
Yeah.
the
Big ones.
extendo
It looks like he's like
extendo
standing.
roof.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Oh,
He ends
he's
up
straight up
in
standing.
a plane.
How is tour going so far?
Today's our first show day, so we're
Wow.
playing in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and then we have a show in Denver tomorrow and a show in Colorado Springs the following day.
Far out.
So a little weekend down and back. So that's why I've been like pacing and walking around, because we're all just trying to get like where we're trying to go.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel you.
So sorry
thank
for all the background noise.
No, I don't
but
care.
We're making it
It's
work.
cool. It's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Anyway,
Yeah, so-
into the album.
Yeah, what else did we get right or wrong?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting just kind of seeing the approach of talking about different different types of effects, different types of songs. Like, you know, what did I write here? I wrote the question like, is jazz purely intellectual? Like, can the music be observed, feeling of it, or is it just purely like, well, I have to know what I'm talking about when talking about jazz? Because like other
Sure.
art forms, it seems a lot easier to just, it's like, yeah, I like hip hop. Like, I don't have to talk about it. I just blast it in my car, and you know, you feel it.
Mhm.
And then jazz, like that discussion of like, you know, how to talk about jazz is, you know, it's that thing of like jazz used to be in the popular music sphere, and then like by the time it got to bebop and you're going more free and more conceptual avant-garde, like that's when it started leaving the public conversation, when
Mhm.
it wasn't as easily graspable. And then it's, you know, in recent years it's kind of come around with the advent of like more jazz incorporation in hip hop, more jazz incorporation in like electronic music. The constant stream of Instagrammers playing guitar and doing like the lo-fi jazz type stuff.
Yeah.
So I just thought overall, like it was good takes in terms of like you being honest about your approach to criticizing stuff, and then also just, you know, picking things here and there, like, oh, you know, I wish the bass had been tracked a little differently, or like, oh, the
Sure.
snare, like, you know, those things that we all have our to taste metrics.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did agree with you, at least partially, with when you were talking about the jazz scene in West Michigan,
Mhm.
and how it is kind of this weird, like, unless you're in it, it's kind of like, where is it even happening? Who's like, is there anyone under the age of like 50 that's participating in it?
Right.
Like, where is this music even, like, you know, like GR Noir just opened, and that's been, it's a wine and jazz bar, and that's like the first business in a while that's like, they're confident enough that they're going to have jazz on a regular basis to just put it in the name.
Yeah.
It's like most times we're just kind of in the corner as like ambiance. And, you know, some venues like the Listening Room have been kind to, like, I've been doing a residency there a couple times a
Okay.
week. And it's funny that there, you know, as much as there is like there's so many jazz musicians in Michigan that just, you know, they either don't have the bandwidth to like start marketing themselves before they, you know, get out of school, or there's someone like Eddie Codrington who has kind of transcended the pure jazz descriptor. Like, he's building, you know, a presentation of his art form, of photography. He's, you know, getting recognized by some of these jazz award, you know, things, but his voice isn't purely like, you know, swing music and
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of more traditional sounding jazz. So yeah, it's a weird scene to be a part of, because you want to collaborate with a lot of different people, and some people are like miles ahead of like putting their stuff out there, and other people are kind of more relaxed, and you're like, you know, you can call them up to jam, but they're not really gigging.
Sure.
Well, and here's maybe a jaded view of all of that.
Love it.
Yeah, let's bring it.
Like, touching on what Dutch was saying, like, unless a young jazz musician is able to market themselves right out of school, as like a jazz musician, it's hard to maybe break into those, because the scenes in Michigan are generally run by the older community, which is not a bad thing, but you're also but you're rubbing elbows with jazz musicians who have been friends, not just in the music scene, but have played all of these gigs together for the last 20, 30 years. And now you're a newcomer who, let's just assume you can really play, like, that's great, but to then go and take an older dude's gig is going to be difficult. And then if you do take that gig, then are you like, oh, then do you get bad mouthed or whatever? Like,
That sounds exhausting.
it's like,
Yeah,
young 20-year-old dude just took
That sounds
the
fucking
gig away
stupid.
from 40-year-old Gerald. Like, You know, it might not be like good job for the young dude. It's like, nah,
You guys
that dude took away that dude's gig.
You guys should settle
know,
it with
and then-
fights. That's how we do it in rock and
Jazz
roll.
fans.
You don't like it, you can come fucking
Jazz.
fight me about it.
Yeah.
And then if you
Jazz
can't handle
fights.
it, sit down, old man.
Yeah, gatekeeping is just a problem that's
Yeah.
always been in
Yeah.
the music scene,
It
no
is,
matter
it
what.
sucks.
Right. So like
Sucks.
somebody like Eddie Codrington, then like, unless you're a musician who's able to transcend or to wrap your identity in what you're pushing early,
Mhm.
can you make it? How do you break into that unless you go against the grain? You know, and going against the grain is, if not harder than breaking in.
Yeah.
So you, as a musician, like a soul music, like single musician, like it's very hard to do a lot very fast unless you just like showing up every single time, putting out a new video like a couple times a week. Otherwise, you get run over, and that's, nobody wants to get run over. Nobody's
No.
trying to run anybody else over, but it's just how fast things move, and it's people. You're working with people, you know,
Mhm.
and ideas and opinions change all the time too.
Caleb, is your time constraint no longer an issue? Are you good?
Yo, what's the plan?
Coffee shop. People are going. I'm going to park.
Park and then
We're
walk
going
to the.
coffee shop. To go now, or if you want to come with me, park and go where.
I'll go.
Love tour. This is a real Bandscamps.
I know.
Viewers, this is a behind the scenes tour
I'm
moment.
I'm down to
Yeah.
Joe
dip.
Hutler and the Rainbow Seekers on tour, behind the scenes.
behind the
Behind the
scenes.
scenes.
We
In the
drink
van.
coffee while we're waiting to load in. So
You're good to talk for a little bit, for a couple minutes?
yeah, I'm good to talk. We're just
Perfect.
we drop
Thank you.
half the dudes off for a coffee shop, and then we're going to go for a walk. So
Yep.
There you go.
Load in. What time is it there? Not like 11?
We're 2 hours behind you guys, so it just hit noon.
About noon. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have another chat
Yeah,
from Scott.
gonna chat. Let me do a reset real quick too. We're talking here with Caleb and Dutcher, who played on this Blushing Monk record, Serendipity, and we are Bandscamps. Me and Dan are talking. We got some chat questions. What do you got, Dan?
Yeah, actually, let's go up here. So, Jeremy further went on to say fusion, experimental music, and then we expanded on that with Tex-Mex.
Yeah, and he didn't know what Tex-Mex was.
He didn't know what Tex-Mex
He
was.
said in the same vein, I suppose, I'm not super knowledgeable about that specific
Yeah.
genre, and I said it's mostly like fajitas and nachos.
Exactly.
You know, like that's
South-
fusion.
Like Southwest food.
Like fusion can be not experimental, right?
Right.
Right. I think fusion, like, it definitely came from an experimental place because of new instruments, new gear, new
And
types
this
of
is
writing.
like a 70s movement,
Mhm.
right, in jazz, or was it earlier than that even?
You know, some people think of like, okay, before Bitches Brew, there was In a Silent Way, like Miles Davis was kind of playing around with some of the concepts that would end up on that kind of record.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can't say it was too much earlier because it really kind of, it came, I feel like towards the late 60s and then into the 70s is like when people were kind of, you know, the rock genre was getting to a certain way. Like James Brown was on the scene. Like there's these other types of sounds on the radio than just jazz music. And I think more people were starting to like play around with new instruments and new styles or like new approaches to like, okay, what is do we get rid of a form? Like, what if it was all improvisation and it was just like a riff, like just playing around with different presentations of jazz and that, you know, with someone like Miles Davis, like every time he would try a new, like he reinvented the genre like 4 or 5 times. And
Yeah.
like every time there's like you think of fusion Miles Davis, you think of like him with the red trumpet and the glasses and the you know, the 80s clothing on stage with a guitarist from some rock band. And you're like, wow, these are like different genres interacting like in real time and kind of figuring it out in those type of recordings too, of like, how does this all work together? Like, how do we arrange for an instrument like the Rhodes? Like, oh, the Rhodes is like not that old when most of this stuff comes out in the 70s.
Yeah.
So
We also have a comment from Scott Dixon again saying people like putting up those types of walls. Like you need to know something. Same thing happens with abstract arts.
Yes.
And he's an art professor actually.
Mhm.
I've come to find out.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah. Scott. He's a scamp, and he's also in KJ and the Good Time Family Band.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And he said it's just not the case. Like you need to know something. I feel this way about like food criticism. I want to do food criticism. I'm like, yo, if you guys want to ever join me for some food scamps, and we just get some takeout and talk about it, like I know we can do this. You don't need to know Indian food to talk about if Indian food's good. You don't need to know about Norwegian smorgas, those little cracker things to know if they're tasty.
Right.
Maybe that's
Especially-
the case with music. Yeah, go ahead.
Especially if you're just doing it to have fun. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
if
That's
you're just
all-
having
that's all
fun
this
and
is.
like, hey, I'm trying to create a community that likes to talk about food, whether or not I know what I'm trying to do, I'm talking to people, which then in turn will teach you about this
Mhm.
the spot versus like
Yeah.
I need to go to school for 10 years to learn about Indian rice. And
Yeah.
then I can start my
Just
my
rice.
podcast about Indian
Right.
food. Like that's
Exactly.
also ridiculous.
I call it goat herding. This comes up. We're like, but I refer it to like drumming, like music. We're like, oh, electronic drums are cheating, so I play real drums. But buying drum heads is cheating, so I herd goats now for the drum heads, and it's like it's a whole like rabbit hole, right? It's
Yeah.
like give a mouse a cookie.
Mhm.
So but
Imposter
I've actually-
syndrome.
I've learned more about jazz just having like done this show, had you guys on the show, have you talked to us about it. Now I feel like, oh, there's a lot of things I didn't really think about that's going on with this record. So that's very successful, you guys.
Yeah. Well, and I think what you picked up on, I think it was mentioned like, trying to talk about jazz and the things you like about live performance of jazz is like those moments that, like, man, that solo he took on that new tune he said he wrote, or like, like, oh, I had heard the album, but the way they did it live was like really cool. Like that's kind of like, what Blushing Monk, even though it was kind of, pieced together from different circumstances and just like who was available. The core of like us all playing together is like, okay, we want to, be able to celebrate these people that are all together. Like, hey, we all went through school. We all have had similar backgrounds and experiences in Michigan. Like, let's just have fun with, writing some tunes and like playing together. Cause we're all
Yep.
usually like on different, like, oh, he's in a wedding band this weekend. He's doing, a corporate gig. He's moved. Like the jazz scene's so fluctuating on the
Is
younger
there-
end in Michigan.
Is there plans for more Blushing Monk of some of the same players or the similar name, or was this a one-off kind of like two-off thing?
I think Caleb and I were just talking about that.
Nice.
The
Yeah. We had right after we got off your call, Dutcher and I were like, so are we still a band? Like, are we
with the pandemic.
That's awesome.
yeah,
We've-
through a
we've been
pandemic
forcing a
and
lot of
everything, it has
questions.
I mean, they're all good questions to ask.
Mhm.
I know personally, I would love to do more with Blushing Monk. Especially like something that reminded me of the time we had in Blushing Monk was Dutcher's in a band called Normal Mode, and I just did a session, a gig with them last last Friday.
What was that called? Normal mode.
Yes.
Normal Mode, yeah. Check them out; they're super dope. So I
Cool.
finally got to play with them this past weekend, and that music, and obviously playing with Dutcher reminded me. All right, dude. Good luck with that car.
You guys racing?
Mhm.
He's trying to race.
Seeking the
And then beat up
rainbows.
Acura. Acura. Well, it reminded me, like playing with Normal Mode reminded me playing with Dutcher and like what that felt like to play that way. Because there's like a different way that I play in Blushing Monk than I would play in Joe Hurler and the Rainbow Seekers, or another band I'm in called Groove Ground, or a wedding band, even for that matter. There's different ways to approach playing, especially when improvising. So as far as playing more with Blushing Monk, I definitely want to, because it just felt so good to stretch that way. But
Oh,
we got to get out of this.
this might be an
We
exclusive.
got to get out of this. We can talk about it live. That's cool. I'm cool with Dutcher's
We
cool.
did. It's live. We are live.
Let's do it.
We're alive.
Yeah,
mean,
Dutcher,
it-
you want to play some more music?
Yeah. Well, I definitely, I remember when we were just talking earlier, it's happening again where like like Madison George, I play with him in Earth Radio, and he was on the last, or the most recent studio session with Blushing Monk. And then there's a drummer that I used a lot in 2019, Ryan Deminick, who's also a Western graduate and studied with Keith Hall. And I think they're both going to move to Nashville. So it's like, okay, there's like, 3 or 4 drummers I could think of that'd be cool to like incorporate into the band. What does that look like? It's kind of like a Duke Ellington situation where Duke Ellington would always try to write for the players that were like, that he, wanted to perform in his band. So that might be as simple as being like, oh, he's a great blues solo player. So when we get the solo section, we'll let this saxophone player rip. But it's also, in the larger sense of like, oh, I have this horn section, these people that are going to be playing together. Like, how do I write to everyone's strengths, but also create new opportunities instead of just like creating a highlights reel? Like, you want to create something that like is organic and conversational, because there are so many people coming in and out of this group. So it does fit into more of a collective in that sense of I'm welcoming, like the challenge of, okay, the people who knew the tunes, they're all leaving. So I got to teach the tunes to new people. But in that process, now we're thinking of new ways to write new tunes and new things to try. So I'd be down to
excellent.
keep going.
Anything that you guys want to plug while you're here? I think we're probably gonna try to wrap this up here in a second, so you get back to your tour.
If I can say one, well, before a plug,
I'm down. I was just informed that we have a time constraint that I did not know about till now. So if
like a new one,
I don't know.
The house is on fire, so we gotta wrap it up.
One overarching idea that I think this podcast or this like session right now can sort of, I think, just to touch on is like, we've been talking about a lot of like what jazz is and how to talk about it, and like, whether or not you guys were right or wrong, or whether or not we're right or wrong. I think what's mainly important and what oftentimes gives jazz like a bad name is like jazz, like feeling about music in any way is right. There is no right or wrong. And then if we, Dutcher and I, as like the jazz musicians, if you will, came in on this podcast, so like, you guys were wrong about this and you guys said this, now it's done. Like, that's, I would never want to do that. Like, this should be like, we want people listening to the music, or none, and then like feel the way you want to feel about music, and then let's talk about it. Music
this
in
is
any
really
genre.
This is a really big thing that lies underneath some of the layers of our criticism. And I'm going to kind of get a little deep here for a second, because since we're short on time, we offer many layers to our criticism. And one of the layers that we offer is that we feel differently about right or wrong about music. I think you're a lot more subjective about how you feel people can feel about music, and I feel that people can be straight up wrong about music, So I think we both kind of represent that. So I would have welcomed that kind of argument, about what that is, but everyone is going to lie on their own kind of axes of what is subjective about music,
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Well, and last tiny point.
Go ahead. I'm good to go. Dan's got to leave, so if you got to go, man, go. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll stay on here and chat with these guys. I didn't even know you got a time constraint.
Yeah,
so.
I just got some errands to run today.
Well, hey, you could have told me that when we had time constraints.
Well,
so if you got to go, it's 2:06, man. Someone has said they got to go at 2:00, and now at 2:06 you're gonna tell me you have to go. Like, I don't know, man. Go. Like, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
You could have let me know you had time constraint too. That's
Well,
all I'm saying. Like, they're here to talk with us.
Right.
If you got to go, we can go. We can wrap it with Dan here. I don't know. It's up to them. It's up to you. I live here,
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna make a tiny addition, and then we could wrap. Yeah, I think it's good to like have, the openness to just like hey, like I'm gonna check this out. For years, being I think of like in high school where you get very opinionated about like this is inherent to me, like this is my art, or this is my, like these are the bands that are great and everything else is awful, and just trying to carve out a personality. But as you like keep listening to music, all it's going to do is like sure, you might not like a certain thing, but it's going to, the more you listen to more types of music, it's like all that does is just informs. You don't just go like I don't like it, you can go I don't like it because, and that's like that's what you guys are already doing in this process of like sifting through all these local bands.
We're trying to be upfront about our preferences, because we have definitely like definite hard biases, and we're never going to be able to get over that.
No, that's not the point of the podcast,
I mean, I think it is.
Totally.
Like, and there we go. Like he doesn't like we have different even agendas of what we think this podcast is. So like maybe that's easy to be like good cop, bad cop about everything, but ultimately there's like both of us involved in it,
Mhm.
I'm just happy that we're talking about music.
Me too.
Like
it's sick.
in any regard. Like I hate the way that snare sounds, or yo Dutcher, those pads that you made on the synth were dope. Like let's have all of it. Let's talk about all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Any last words? Any last words for Dutcher, Caleb? Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys trusting us. Thank you, Dutcher, for having us on your show. Thank you for like submitting 2 records. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no problem. The small plug I'll do is tonight and tomorrow. If you're in Grand Rapids at the Listening Room, you can make reservations through 123, the restaurant at Studio Park, to see my trio play from 6 to 9 today and tomorrow. So if you liked our jazz topic and discussion, you can hear some jazz tonight and tomorrow.
Nice. I have on June 5th, it's a Saturday, I have a show with Groove Ground Music. They're a band out of Grand Rapids that I play with. They're really great guys. We have a show. I don't know where it is. I'll have to figure out where it is. But if you follow us on, it's on the platforms. We have posts about it. So that'll be my plug. And then just what I'm currently doing. I have 3 shows the next couple days in Colorado, and that'll be sweet.
Good luck on tour.
Have a lot of fun.
Be safe.
Man.
Have fun.
Yep. I got my brightly covered face mask ready to go wherever.
Rainbow.
Amazing.
Oh, you're the in the Rainbow Seekers.
We are the Rainbow Seekers.
Have you found you guys ever find that rainbow?
Oh, that's what we're out here doing. We're searching.
Godspeed to you.
Thanks, guys.
So great talking to you all.
Thank you guys so much.
Cassie, go ahead and feel free to just and boot them. We're gonna boot you now.
All right.
Have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. See
Bye.
ya.
Don't
submit.
submit.
No.
It's all right. It's all right.
We'll talk to him.
Yeah.
We report him for bad behavior.
Okay.
We can probably correct that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Don't submit. All right, and then I think we're here. We're good. Man,
thanks, y'all.
It's
thank
been
you.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's
thank you
awesome
so much,
having them on
everyone.
here.
Again, thank you, Moto. Thank you, Blushing Monk, and thank you for everyone who tunes into these and continues to tune into these and support us. Again, you can visit patreon.com/Bandscamps. Consider becoming a supporter of the podcast. And thanks again.
Tuesday.
Yeah, let's check on what we're doing on Tuesday.
It's 2 different records. It is that Loop one.
Yes, we have Silent Spirits, full length Ancestor, and Kata Koopman's Keeping Everyone in the Loop.
Mm-hmm. So check that out on Tuesday. It's going to be out on video on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.
Thank you.